Just ahead on News 13 tonight, President Bush announces a major troop deployment to the Persian Gulf, but is it a prelude to war?
Also tonight, the Noriega tapes. Will they ruin the government case against the former dictator? And a new wave of racism at a college campus in Troy. The full report straight ahead on News 13 tonight.
Now, from WNYT, News That Matters. With Ed Dague, Chris Kapostasy, meteorologist Bob Kovachick, and Bob McNamara with sports. This is News 13 tonight.
Good evening. President Bush is turning up the heat, putting the pressure on Saddam Hussein.
The president is ordering a massive military buildup in the Gulf. That includes 3 aircraft carrier groups and combat-ready National Guard units. This move will add more than 100,000 additional United States soldiers within striking distance of Saddam Hussein. Steve Hammelsman has the report.
This is the main weapon the new units will bring to the Gulf, the Abrams M1 main battle tank, America's heaviest and most capable. Some are here already. In addition, President Bush is sending thousands more U.S. soldiers, reportedly 140 to 160,000 from the U.S. and from Germany to Saudi Arabia to join the 230,000 Americans already here. Plus, significantly more American air and sea power will be sent. President Bush says the big boost in U.S. forces will enable the U.S.-led coalition in the Gulf to go beyond its current defensive posture.
To ensure that the coalition has an adequate offensive military option should that be necessary to achieve our common goals. I would like to see a peaceful solution to this question. I think Saddam Hussein should fully, without condition, comply to the UN resolutions, and if this movement of force is what convinces him, so much the better.
In Iraq today, Saddam Hussein replaced his top military commander. It's a move some analysts say indicates dissension in Iraq's military over what to do next. If there is war, there's a question tonight about whether the battleship Wisconsin will help fight it. The big battle wagon is in the Gulf, carrying cruise missiles along with its huge guns. But a government accounting office report made public today says the World War II vintage ship and one other like it are cramped and outmoded and ought to be retired. And the Navy apparently agrees, even though the Wisconsin was just refitted at a reported cost of $1 billion. In Washington, this is Steve Hammelsman for NBC News.
The U.S. government prosecution of ousted Panamanian dictator Manuel Noriega may be hanging dangerously close to the edge tonight. CNN has obtained audio recordings made by the federal government, which appear to be conversations between Noriega and his defense team. Noriega's lawyers say that would be a clear breach of attorney-client privilege, and they plan to seek a dismissal.
We are absolutely shocked and horrified that the United States government would wiretap General Noriega and his lawyers engaging in the most sensitive of communications whatsoever. Now at this point we have no idea as to what depths that they have stooped to and to whether our home phones are tapped, whether our homes are bugged, whether our cars are bugged, or what other intrusions the government has entered into in their desperation to convict General Noriega.
A federal judge has barred CNN from airing those tapes. CNN calls the order unconstitutional prior restraint and is seeking a hearing from a higher court.
National Drug Czar William Bennett made it official today. After 18 months on the job, President Bush's drug policy director has stepped down. At a White House send-off, Bennett rejected reports that he has quit because he fears for his family's safety or that he's simply run out of gas. The man accused of mailing the bombs that killed the judge and a civil rights lawyer was arraigned today. Lawyers for Walter Moody have asked that all federal judges be barred from hearing the case because one of the victims was a federal judge from Alabama. Moody also refused to enter a plea, so a not guilty plea was entered on his behalf.
Here at home, Russell Sage College students are planning to march this Sunday against acts of prejudice on their campus. Today, their pain turned into an outpouring of emotion and anger at the invisible enemy they are up against. Phil Bailey reports.
We are people too. We are people too. Just because we are half black and Hispanic don't mean we less than people.
The victims of racial prejudice on the campus of Russell Sage College in Troy erupted into tears after a campus-wide meeting called by college administrators failed to heal their pain, answer their call for an end to an ugly residue left from 3 incidents of racial scrawlings on the walls and doors of 2 freshman dormitories over the past month.
And then on Monday morning, in red permanent marker, someone wrote on the wall, "Niggers get out, KKK."
Some of the graffiti was found on Tamisha Martinez's door, but she says minorities, who make up about 2% of the college's 1,100 students, feel something in the air as soon as they arrive on campus.
Everyone was nice, but it's like there was tension. No one wanted to say hi to you. It's like you was going to hurt them if they would just say hello.
An aggressive recruiting effort by Russell Sage increased minority enrollment by 11% this year, and college administrators say they're investigating the rash of racial incidents.
We want to air this. We want to get it out and talk about it and talk it through. We want to overcome the whole situation. Clearly, we can't tolerate this and don't wish to.
But minority students are asking for more. Mandatory racial and cultural education for incoming students and something to heal the hurt.
I am a person. I am a person. I am here to get a degree. I am not here to put up with people's prejudiced attitudes. If you are prejudiced, keep it at home. Keep it out of my face. This is wrong.
Phil Bailey, News 13, Troy.
Authorities in New York and Massachusetts are moving to stop an investment firm accused of taking advantage of its customers. The attorney generals of both states say First Investors Corporation misled thousands of unsophisticated investors through a calculated series of misrepresentations and omissions. New York Attorney General Robert Abrams says his office has audio tapes to prove the charges. First Investor says it followed the rules and regulations and is simply not guilty. One of the final chapters scheduled for bankruptcy court tomorrow in the sad story of the ill-fated Boston store. Bill Lambdin tells us 140 employees will be without jobs as the merchandise is emptied from the Latham Mall business.
Ed, it really is. A top Boston store official and the mall owner are among those involved who say it did not have to happen like this, that the bank involved, Citibank, could have worked to keep the store open and 140 people employed. October 1989, fire set by a security guard destroys the Boston store in Latham. It takes months to reopen. When it does, new malls have made competition even tougher, and people who used to shop here, like Dina Lutz, are going elsewhere.
I don't shop here much. The prices are kind of high, but I will, I'll come in and look.
Too many people just looking. The 1989 fire was a major problem, but the chief executive officer says the Boston store probably would have survived. However, at the same time, customers throughout the region just stopped buying.
The overall economy at this point obviously is not good.
Hard times getting even harder for 140 employees. Until a few days ago, employees hoped a new company would take over the location. That happened in Niskayuna, but not here. Instead, under the bankruptcy plan, Citibank will get almost 75% of the money it is owed. Other creditors will get almost nothing. And the mall owner says he spent $4 million to renovate a soon-to-be empty store. Lawsuits not that unusual in a bankruptcy, and they appear a virtual certainty here.
If the economy slows down, we've been wondering in the newsroom for years whether we're not saturated here with malls and stores. Boston store may not be the last.
They just keep adding stores, and they don't add customers. Our population base is pretty close to what it's been for the last 20 years.
Exactly. Okay, thanks,
Thanks, Bill. Still to come on News 13 tonight, rain rolling into the region. Bob's forecast is next.
A little later on tonight, what some people won't do to get their hands on one of the true cult classics of American cinema.
Weather on News 13 is sponsored by Kiskis Tire. We care at Kiskis Tire.
Bob, on the weather, and this may be the coldest night we've had so far, yes?
Yes, sir, and early next week, it's going to be real cold, like December by Monday and Tuesday. Highs in the 20s, lows in the teens.
But it says right here, it's November.
Well, we don't go by that. Mother Nature has her own schedule, that's for sure. Got a shot of some snow here tonight, kind of apropos because I think late in the weekend, places like Voorheesville and Altamont and Bern may have a little snow. Maybe not that much, but certainly a bit coming, and a cold blast of air by early next week. That's what the computers look to me they're doing tonight. 46 the day's high, 28 the low. A record high of 75 and a record low 18. On the hour, 11 o'clock, crystal clear, and heading toward the coldest night of the season so far. It's 28, humidity 75. The winds have died down a whole lot, now just northwest at 5, a trace of rain, and the barometer falling. To the weather maps tonight, scout watchers in the area reporting crystal clear skies from Hudson Falls down to North Adams, over to Lee, temperatures generally in the 20s. Happy birthday to Diane, West Sand Lake. She checked in with 27 degrees tonight, Catskill clear in 29. Most spots upper teens, low 20s by morning, clear skies, light winds. Then things will start to change tomorrow. Across the greater picture in the northeast, again, clear just about everywhere. Temperatures are already in the 20s, certainly below freezing in most reporting communities, except from Philadelphia to New York City and on up in the southern New England coast. I think places in the Adirondacks and the Green Mountains will be down to about 13 or 15 there by morning. Satellite view, pretty easy to tell, change is coming about from the west and south. The storm that was here last night in New Mexico has moved to just about the southeastern corner of Texas, the center of the storm. Look at the clouds and wide area of precipitation across mid-country. The snow finally ended now in the Rockies, but quite a bit of rain spreading northward all the way from Texas and Louisiana on to Missouri. Freezing rain into parts of Iowa and Illinois. The storm center, as I mentioned, located right over southeastern Texas, will move fairly quickly to the east and northeast, passing past Cape Cod by, midday to afternoon on Saturday. That kind of storm track in the winter would really make me nervous. I think we'd be in for a snowstorm, but I don't think that'll happen. I think the precipitation late tomorrow night may start as a little snow or sleet in the north country and the mountains, but elsewhere it will be rain, and that includes here. Record highs today, they still hang on in South Florida. Tampa 88 and Fort Myers 89 this afternoon. Here's the radar over the past few hours showing a pretty good batch of rain and some thunder and heavy rain over the south central Gulf states, and that precipitation will begin to expand quickly toward us tomorrow, I think arriving late tomorrow night, and Saturday, part of Saturday, maybe most of Saturday could be wet in our area. So tomorrow's weather map shapes up like this: sunshine and cold. A cold car seat morning, first one of the year, upper teens and low 20s, and clouds come in quickly later on Friday. Here we go, finally, the forecast. A cold one tonight, clear skies, light winds, lows 18 to 23. For tomorrow, sunshine early, then clouds and chilly, highs will be in the 40s. Cloudy tomorrow night and cool, rain late at night, could be cold enough to begin as sleet or snow in our northern mountains in the 30s. And on Saturday, breezy, morning rain, clearing later. Temperatures near 50, but then much colder. And Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, here you go. Flurries and squalls, Sunday high 34. Monday and Tuesday, I don't think we'll be out of the 20s for highs. Lows in the teens. It is here.
Button up your overcoat.
Button up, you got it.
Okay.
Bob didn't use it, so we'll put some radar in this show. A team effort to the Utah wilds today to rescue Radar the horse. Radar had been trapped for 2 weeks, surviving 2 weeks of snowstorms without food or water. Enter the local Animal Control, Rocky Mountain Helicopter, and the National Humane Society, and Radar gets a free ride to safety. The horse is recovering from scrapes and bruises at the local vet hospital tonight, is expected to go home in a few days.
Ahead, News 13 tonight, 2 school buses collide near Pittsfield.
Also, a local man with a plea from the heart to get us all to wear our seatbelts. Those stories and more when News 13 tonight continues.
Nearly a dozen school kids were rushed to the hospital today when a school bus got rear-ended. One bus was stopped on Route 9 in Windsor, Massachusetts, near Pittsfield, when another school bus ran into it. The driver of the second bus told state police that she was blinded by the sun and didn't see the bus in front of her. All of the kids were treated for minor injuries and then sent home. State police say tonight that the accident does remain under investigation.
Local car accident victim is pitching in to help convince others to buckle up. John Muir's injured in a car crash 10 years ago in Latham. He was not wearing a seatbelt. Now he's offering some blunt talk in the state's new Buckle Up campaign.
Hello? Hey, what's up?
And then I have asked the kids, why don't you wear your seatbelts? And as a matter of fact, one student said the other day that they were uncomfortable. And at the risk of sounding melodramatic, I told them, I said, well, how would you like to strap on one of these for the next 50 years?
That campaign includes TV and radio ads, posters for high schools, and continued enforcement by police of the new seatbelt law.
The daughter of the late Sammy Davis Jr. is pleading for smokers to learn from her father's death and kick the habit. Tracey Davis is serving as honorary chairperson of the Great American Smokeout, a campaign to encourage smokers to give up smoking for at least one day. The Smokeout this year is a week from today. Sammy Davis Jr. died of throat cancer in May. Sammy Davis had been the Smokeout's first national chairman back in 1977.
There's a new drug that may help prevent osteoporosis. That's the disease of thinning, fragile bones. 24 million Americans are afflicted. Benita Zahn with that and more in tonight's Health Matters Wrap.
In this week's Health Matters Wrap, word about a new drug to treat osteoporosis. More than 400 patients were studied nationwide. For those who took the new drug, etidronate, the results were astonishing. The lead researcher says not only was there an increase in bone mass, but also a reduction in the rate of new fractures. While etidronate is on the market, it has not gotten FDA approval as an osteoporosis treatment, so experts advise caution. Talk to your doctor. With all the news from the Persian Gulf of troop buildups and the deaths among some of those already there, you've got to wonder how safe it is to be in the military. Well, a new study in the Journal of the American Medical Association shows soldiers in the Army have a death rate half that of civilians. Researchers say those on active duty are primarily young men with access to high-quality care, and that the Army has energetically pursued a program of health promotion. Looking ahead to next week, we begin a special series of reports called The Life You Save. It'll be chock full of quick tips on how to handle emergency situations. I'm Benita Zahn with this week's Health Matters Wrap.
Up next in sports, the Knicks try to win one at home. Mac will have that.
Also more on Darryl Strawberry signing with the Dodgers and a big acquisition by the Patroons. All next.
Hallelujah, party time for the Knicks. They won one at home.
Maybe they don't need a coach.
Oh, they need a coach, all right. But they did win tonight. Bullets couldn't match up with Patrick Ewing, and that was the name of that tune. After 2 straight losses to the Guard, New York finally broke out of it. Ewing just destroyed him. Now get a load of this power move by Patrick around Ellison. The only way Ellison could have stopped Ewing would have been to have him locked up for assault. Ewing pretty much did what he wanted when he wanted on the way to a 32-point effort. He also had 7 blocks and 15 rebounds. Bernard King, by the way, had 30 for the losers. Elsewhere in the NBA tonight, New Jersey finally won one by 11 over Miami. I hope so. Milwaukee 30 over Philadelphia and Houston 4 over Orlando. Well, News 13 learned tonight that the Albany Patroons are in the process of signing Big Earl Cureton, later the New York Knicks. To say he will help them would be a broad understatement. The man is a horse, and Albany is delighted to have him. Cureton had a chance to go to Europe, but he'd rather play here on the chance he can get back quickly to the NBA. Cureton played with the Charlotte Hornets, by the way, during the 88-89 season. He played last year in Europe. Over to baseball. The wait is finally over. No more Mets for Darryl Strawberry. It's official. He is now a member of the L.A. Dodgers. The Dodgers called a news conference this afternoon to introduce the newest member of their organization. And Strawberry, who was born and raised in L.A., is very, very pleased indeed. He gets the second biggest contract in the game, a 5-year deal worth $20.3 million. As for the Mets, he was glad to say bye-bye.
I don't think the New York Mets front office appreciated Darryl Strawberry for the last 7 years that I've been there, and it's been a real tough situation to go through, and I just wanted to get away from it all and start a new life for myself.
So where do the Mets go from here? How about Von Hayes of the Phillies here? The Mets are talking to Philadelphia now about a trade for the multi-talented outfielder. Hayes does a lot of things awfully well. We shall see. We are now in our final days of the latest NFL poll. This one has to do with women reporters in the locker room. If you think it's okay for them to be in there, vote yes. If you think they should not be in there, dial the second number. We are not running any percentage on this whole thing under the theory that we don't want to do one thing to influence any opinion, even to a slight degree. We'll let you know how it all came out in just a few days. National Hockey League tonight. St. Louis by a goal over Pittsburgh. Calgary, big time over Philadelphia. Well, sophomore Joe Cacuzo of Mechanicville, the 285-pound offensive guard, will be in the starting lineup again when his Michigan team faces Illinois Saturday in a battle of nationally ranked clubs. Joe got a start 6 weeks ago, and he hasn't been out of the lineup since. They are very, Very pleased with him, to say the least. And a News 13 salute tonight to Coach Dave Martin, his Albany Academy soccer team. They won 19 out of 20 games this season, but even more imposing is the fact that over that 20-game span, the club gave up a grand total of 5 goals. Remarkable.
It is. They don't play with a goaltender. Can't tell you that one, huh? It is not Casablanca to be sure, but it is a Hollywood legend nonetheless.
Rocky Horror has come to home video, and we'll tell you all about it next. Rocky Horror fans, you can finally get some sleep. You don't have to wait for a midnight showing to see Susan Sarandon and Tim Curry do the time warp. Rocky Horror is out in video cassette tonight. Where there's Rocky, there's bound to be a few lookalikes. We caught up with this bunch of Rockettes in Albany tonight. One of the traditions associated with attending a Rocky Horror showing is to hurl toast and toilet paper at the screen. Well, now that the film is out on video, we wonder if that tradition will continue, since the host will have to clean up the mess. Only if it's at your house.
This is a night on which you might want to consider wearing a few more clothes than some of those people were.
Very nippy. We'll find out when we go out the door. It's in the upper 20s now. The next 5 days go like this, and it's really cold by early next week. Tomorrow, not a bad day. Rain tomorrow night, maybe a little snow in the mountains. Rain part of Saturday. Sunday, flurries, high 34. And Monday and Tuesday, the coldest days we've had yet. Highs in the 20s, lows teens early next week. It's going to get chilly and maybe a little bit of whiteness for some of us. That's it.
But not in the immediate Albany, Schenectady, Troy.
Flurries, nothing that we have to dig out of yet.
Okay. Thanks, Bob.
Party isn't at my house, is it?
Well, I told you about the party they're planning at
Right.
6, and your name was prominently mentioned. It
My
was,
house?
Yes.
Good. We'll invite you all over. I'll give you the address here tomorrow night.
And if you believe that, have I got some swampland for you. But in the meantime, have a good night.
Good night.